England's Regency era was one of its most defining. During this time, Jane Austen published her first novels. Bare-knuckle boxing was a favorite pastime, and young women carried around tiny portraits of the poet Lord Byron, the original teen heartthrob. The period, which spanned just 9 years from 1811 to 1820, is named for its ruler, George Augustus Frederick, Prince of Wales, later King George IV, who was declared Prince Regent on February 5, 1811. The prince served as regent due to the illness of his father, George III, often referred to as the Mad King, before ascending to the throne in 1820 upon the king's death. The Regency era is undeniably popular in television and film. But contrary to what is portrayed in the hit Netflix series Bridgerton, life in England during this period went beyond the gossip of the ton, the British aristocracy, budding romances, and ornate ballroom parties. The period saw a flourishing of arts and literature and the start of the Industrial Revolution, all while being rocked by the Napoleonic Wars and the aftermath of American independence and the French Revolution. It was a time of great social strife, political changes, war, and technological advancements that permanently altered British society. Here is a snapshot of what life was like during the Regency era. England was perpetually at war. England was embroiled in 2 major conflicts during the Prince Regent's rule. The Napoleonic Wars began in 1799, and although the Duke of Wellington's Anglo-Allied army ended Napoleon's reign in June 1815 at the Battle of Waterloo, the British government had spent nearly £1.7 billion on the war effort, roughly $230 billion today, an expense mainly shouldered by the British taxpayers. At the same time, England was at war with the newly independent United States yet again over maritime rights in the War of 1812. Along with taking a monetary toll on citizens, the war called many young men into battle. By the end of the Regency era, the British Army grew to 6 times its previous size. To around 250,000 soldiers, wealth inequality was the norm. Wealth inequality plagued Regency-era England, creating a rigid dichotomy between poor or working-class citizens and wealthy landowners and nobility. England's involvement in multiple consecutive wars, combined with a rapidly rising population and the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, led to economic turmoil. Mechanized farming equipment and a burgeoning railway system caused many workers to lose their jobs. More and more factories began cropping up in Britain's cities, leading to increasing numbers of people heading to urban centers to find employment. Many lived in overcrowded slums known as rookeries. The most notorious was St. Giles in London's West End, an essentially lawless neighborhood run by gangs and overrun with gambling, theft, and violence. Nearby, at the Devil's Acre slum, in present-day Westminster, the Ragged School for Troubled Youth is rumored to have inspired Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist. Upper-class society revolved around the season, in stark contrast to the widespread poverty in rookeries around British cities. Aristocrats enjoyed attending up to 2 balls a week during what was known as the season. The season followed Parliament's schedule, beginning whenever the new session opened, sometime between November and January, and extending through July when Parliament's summer recess began. During this time, a few hundred wealthy families left their country homes and flocked to London to join the festivities. Not participating in the season was detrimental to social status, and the who's who of the ton were sure to get invited to the most exclusive balls. These lavish events weren't only for dancing, they were the perfect places to form business relationships. From courting young couples to wealthy landowners, everyone had something at stake. Dating was tricky business. Regency-era aristocrats left little to fate when it came to love. During the season, young people were often coerced into advantageous relationships by their parents in hopes of gaining wealth, property, or status, even if that match was to a first cousin. Couples might court during afternoon tea, a walk in a garden, a concert, or a ball. Relationships were very public, and friends and family knew how the courtship was, or wasn't, advancing. Most importantly, the young couple could never be alone. A chaperone was always present. However, there is plenty of evidence from letters of the era that suggest young couples found ways to sneak off to steal a few minutes to themselves. Some things never change. Love letters became especially popular during the Regency era as reading and writing became commonplace, but even more special than a letter was the gift of a lock of hair. The beach was a favorite pastime. wealthy Regency-era citizens were ballroom dancers by night and beachgoers by day, as sea bathing, for recreational and medical purposes, became a favorite pastime in England. Its medicinal benefits were first explored in the early 18th century, and by the early 19th century, physicians were prescribing salt water soaks and seaweed rubdowns for any manner of illness. Because two of Brits' favorite vacation destinations, France and Italy, were unreachable due to the Napoleonic Wars, many people turned to their local beaches for recreation, transforming small coastal towns into popular vacation destinations. Even Jane Austen was known to partake in the pursuit as she spent her summers at the shore. In the towns of Worthing, Dawlish, Sidmouth, and Lyme Regis, among others, Regency-era beaches looked very different from modern beaches. It was deemed inappropriate for men to see women swimming, so dippers became a beachside staple. To swim in the ocean, women first entered bathing machines, essentially dressing rooms with wheels, which were pulled to the water's edge by horses led by dippers. These dippers helped swimmers emerge through the back door, allowing them their dignity while enjoying the sea. Feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you for following. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with hot news every day.